Gary, I'm like a kid in a candy store right now with the opportunity to say thank you for all that you've done in your career, which has served as an inspiration for me in my voiceover career. And I've been doing this almost 30 years, going back to watching you on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In and saying to myself, I want to do that job, and I hope I'm nearly half as good as that guy. You have truly been an inspiration for me and thousands of other voice talents, and we all aspire to be as good as you are. I hope someday to get to thank you in person, but in the meantime, thank you here today for everything that you've done, and I can't wait to hear what you're going to do next.
From the beautiful Catskill Mountains of upstate New York, hi Gary, this is Liz de NESNERA, and I am so honored to be a part of this project. I really remember you from way back. I remember sneaking into my older brother's room to watch Laugh-In on a little 13-inch black and white TV and not getting half the jokes that were going on, but I remember you, and I remember you in your jacket and tie and just sitting there and doing your bit and just loving it, and then turning around and going back to my room the following day, and I had a little cassette deck. And I remember taking the little mic that you would plug into the cassette deck and sitting there and putting my hand behind my ear and just speaking into the mic. I just want you to know that you have had a profound effect on so many of us in all the different things that you've done, your professionalism, and it's just really an honor to say thank you. I really, really, truly mean it. Take care.
When I actually think about why it is I do what I do and how I got involved in voiceover and what was the driving force for me to want to get into radio and broadcast and do television and actually go even further and get into acting on stage, it started with listening to this announcer who would tell me that, stay tuned, we'll be right back after these messages. Stand by for news, you know, all the important news of the day. And I can still picture, I mean, hand on the ear, don't worry, we'll be right back after these important messages with Gary Owens. And, you know, there's other people out there that kind of, you know, come to mind. Ed McMahon, for example. Fred Willard is another great one, but it's Gary Owens who really kind of is in my brain when I do a reading for a superhero because of Space Ghost. It's that guy, Gary Owens. Man, made my day just thinking about it. Perfect.
Hey, Mr. Owens, you've been the narrator inside my head for as long as I can remember, and I just wanted to say thank you. You've been in so many movies and cartoons it would be impossible for me to list them all. But I would say my all-time favorite has to be Powder Toast Man, especially when you told Frank Zappa to cling tenaciously to my buttocks. Again, I sound like a broken record, but thank you so much, just for everything. Words really fail me, so thank you.
Hi, Gary. It's Pam Tierney. May I call you Gary? I feel like I can. After all, we are old friends. You used to come into my family room on our console TV when I was a little one. You were funny. When I saw you on Laugh-In, I thought you were just another crazy character, not someone who was doing a real job. But you were, and you were pretty amazing. You brought the announcer out of the shadows and into the spotlight, introducing a generation to voiceover and paving a way for all of us to follow. I stand on your shoulders today, very proud to call myself a voiceover. And when I get a little silly with my reads, it's with a tip of the hat to you. So thanks, Gary. Here's to keeping the termites warm for many years to come.
Hi, Mr. Owens. I'm just so thankful to have this opportunity to say thank you for the inspiration that you gave me as a young broadcaster and then onto my voiceover career. I've never met you in person, but I thought I saw you at a Denny's in Decatur, Illinois back in 1991, but I may have been wrong about that. Anyway, I grew up on Your Voice and Don Pardo and Jimmy Gilbert, voices like that. I used to pray for a head cold in high school, kind of like the one I have right now, so I could reach that rumbling style of yours. I love all the Hanna-Barbera stuff, all the way through Powdered Toast Man, and I'm probably one of 5 people who I know that are just huge fans of Eek the Cat. I absolutely love that show. I do a career talk at our high school every year on voiceover, and you're always one of the examples that I use to point out success and longevity in this great business. So again, thank you so much for helping me along in my career, and I wish you the best in many, many more years to come.
And you're Gary Owens. And yeah, I actually do have my hand over my ear as I said that. Mr. Owens, I am so thrilled to be able to have the chance to even send you a message. It's so wonderful to be able to thank you for all that you have done for our profession as voiceovers, but also just for me as an individual. I remember watching Laugh-In as a kid and being absolutely entranced by this man in the glass booth that was kind of separate, but also a little removed and a lot more dignified than the rest of the people on that show. But you always knew where they had to go and what they had to do. And really, it was the first exposure I had, and I'm sure most of us in this country had, to what a voiceover was. And little sidebar here, the fact that in 1971, my dad moved us to Encino, California, actually right down the street from you. So to see you as a dad and a neighbor was a peek behind the curtain for this kid from New England. You're on the TV and you're this spiffy dresser with that killer mustache and the deep voice, but you're also the dad who drove his kids to school, and actually me one day when I missed the bus, when your kids missed the bus. That has stayed with me, that the reality of the job and the person, and I have to thank you for that, sir, because here I am in 2013. I'm a single mom. I live in Manchester, New Hampshire, a thriving entertainment metropolis, as you might imagine, and I'm making my living as a full-time voiceover, in great part because you blazed that trail for all of us. So thank you very, very much for all the laughs and all the entertainment and all the wonderful memories, but especially for quietly and very dapperly blazing a trail for those of us who call ourselves voiceovers. And me, I'm Mo Egan. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mr. Owens. I had the good fortune to chat with you while we were both waiting for a session to start at a studio in Los Angeles. And when you came in and started speaking, I had one of those, wait, do you know who you are moments. Now, I'd grown up in Ohio listening to your voice, and it was a real treat to converse about the industry with you. You're a very kind and sharing person. Plus, you told me all about Kona coffee, and the next one's on me, Mr. Owens. Thank you for all of the entertainment you've given over the years.
Hi, Gary. This is Doug TURKEL in Miami. And unfortunately, I can't say that we've ever met. We've never worked together. And even more unfortunately, you've never driven me to school like some other people. But I can say that there isn't a single memory in my childhood that doesn't involve you in one way or another, whether it's watching Laugh-In with my parents or The Perils of Penelope Pit Stop, Powdered Toast Man, Space Ghost. Everywhere I turn, there you and your incredible talent are. And I really cannot explain how happy it makes me to have the chance today to say thank you.
Hi, Mr. Owens. Wow, after years of listening to your voice, it's amazing to think that you're actually going to be listening to mine. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for your inspiration, not only in my former life, 20 plus years as a broadcaster, but now in my career as a voice actor. You're actually one of the reasons why I got into broadcasting. You've been such an inspiration to so many people. From your broadcasting days to animation, Laugh-In, you have touched so many people in so many ways. Thanks again, Mr. Owens, for the many years of entertainment and the pure joy that you and your voice have brought to all of us.
Hello, Mr. Owens. It's a great pleasure to send my greetings to you from up here where I live and work in the beautiful Rocky Mountains. In the 9th grade, I was a huge fan of Laugh-In, and especially your deadpan announcer act. Well, the same year, I got cast as a radio announcer in a school play. So I decided to put my hand up over my ear during my first line, just like you did, and it got a great laugh from the audience. So, for all you did and everything you still do, this one's for you. You're a great inspiration.
Hello, Gary. My name's Bob SOUER. From my years in high school, when you were on Laugh-In, to Penelope Pit Stop and all of the many other things that you've recorded over the years between then and now, you have had a tremendous influence on me as a voiceover talent and as a person. I got to meet you in person at one of the Dan O'Day International Radio Creative and Production Summits several years ago when you came to speak, and that was one of the thrills of my life. I just want you to know that I'm very, very grateful for your influence and pray that things continue to go well for you in the future.
Hello, Mr. Owens. My name is Anthony GETTIG, and I'm a voice talent living and working in Kalamazoo, Michigan. When I saw this opportunity to pass along an audio tribute to probably the greatest announcer of all time, I immediately raised my hand. Of course, everyone, myself included, appreciates your work on Laugh-In, but I'd also like to share my appreciation of one of your animated characters, the Blue Falcon. I remember a whole group of us boys in second grade really enjoyed that show, and we even had a Blue Falcon Club. Of course, no girls were allowed. It was second grade after all, and, well, you know, girls had cooties. In high school, we had a radio broadcasting class with a 100-watt student-operated station. There were many times when our teacher would point out the great announcers. And of course, your voice was right there as an example to follow. What's more, a whole new generation is coming to appreciate your signature sound and sense of humor thanks to the internet. Thank you so much, Mr. Owens, for following your heart and your dream to wherever it would lead you. You are truly an inspiration to this voice guy. I wish you many, many more years of health and prosperity. God bless.
Hi, Mr. Owens. I don't have anything prepared. I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done and all the work you've done and all the things that are out there that have your voice in them. Your voice has been a thread running through some of the coolest, funniest, most inspiring parts of my life. And I really appreciate everything you've done. It seems like you were having a really great time doing it and still are. And I hope that's true. I particularly just like how fast you can come up with something funny, something I admire. Thanks.
Back in the late 60s, I was a college student, and my roommates and I rented a third-floor walk-up apartment sight unseen above a laundromat. One of the main reasons we moved into this dump was a beat-up sofa and 27-inch color TV in the coin-op laundry's waiting area. It was supposed to be for the customers, but since we were paying rent to the store owner, we figured we were customers too. And the one show we never missed was Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Some of those characters made an indelible impression. Goldie Hawn's ditzy blonde, Artie Johnson's German soldier, Ruth Buzzy's frumpy old lady, and a velvet-tongued announcer with one hand cupped over his ear. I never wanted to be the first three, but that man in the booth was one of the influences that pointed me toward the career path I would eventually follow. And during my career in radio, TV, and voiceover, I had occasion to work in a few little studios with that dingy acoustical tile on the walls, but I never thought, this is a dump. I always told myself, this is just like Gary Owens' booth on Laugh-In. This is cool.
Mr. Owens, thank you. When I was given the opportunity to offer my thanks to you, I knew I had to participate. I would be an insegrevious person indeed had I turned it down. My first memory of you, your voice, was Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. I would walk around the house with my hand to my ear, imitating the inflection and pacing of your delivery. I would do the same at school, much to the delight of my classmates and to the chagrin of my teachers. I have heard your voice on Saturday morning, on weekday mornings when homesick watching game shows, and even when enjoying a family vacation at Epcot. Always in the back of my mind was the thought, someday I will do that too. Last year, after 40 years of thinking about it and wishing I could do it, I finally started down that path and have looked to you and your success as an inspiration and guide. Thank you for being a mentor, though we've never met. Thank you for following your dream, no matter the obstacles. Thank you for being my life's narrator. In my head, of course. Simply, Mr. Owens, thank you.
Hi, Gary. I'm Corey Snow. Recently, I posted a photograph of myself on Facebook, and my friend Amy told me that I looked like you. That was very flattering to me, although I have to admit, I'd rather sound like you. I was a bit young for Laugh-In, so I first heard your voice on Hanna-Barbera cartoons like The Blue Falcon, Roger Ramjet, Penelope Pitstop, and Space Ghost. Your voice was the soundtrack to much of my early childhood. By the early 1990s, I was in the Army, and all the guys in my unit loved Ren and Stimpy. A group of us would watch it every week in the barracks day room. When we saw Powdered Toast Man for the first time, we were all in tears from laughing so hard. Gary, I've wanted to work with my voice since I was a young man. I didn't start doing it until recently, but now that I'm a full-time voice talent, I've grown to admire and respect you and your peers even more than ever. You blazed the trail that a lot of us have followed, and I would not be where I am were it not for your hard work, dedication, and talent. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best for many years to come.